Hey guys, welcome to the shop. So this is going to be pretty short and sweet. Periodic maintenance on the motor for your mill is greasing the bearings. The data plate says where is it? Oh, it's on the motor. It says every 6 months. I do it once a year because I don't put a lot of hours on these, and modern greases last better. But it's a good idea to clean out under the cover just for heat reasons. Now, you also see how that just spooged out. I like to leave the plugs out for a few minutes just to let any pressure that's built up in there be relieved. You'll never get 100% grease fillage in there, but I just wanted to show you, this is old grease I pumped out that's about a year old. I forget what I used. I know I used a lithium-based bearing grease, but I think that could be contamination from the old grease that was God knows how many years old that was in there, but you see how it's mixed with the fresh grease. So with these, people will get into it. I think with this really old motor that's from the 50s, it's not a terrible idea to basically just flush the grease system, i.e. the bearing housings. And the way the bearings sit, you'll get leakage down here. You can see I have grease leakage from that seal. And I don't know where this will leak to, but I think it'll be roughly the same place. It might get in the stator or the windings, but I haven't really noticed any issues. And if that does happen, just pull the motor apart and clean it out. It's not a huge deal. But so you've got a grease fitting here and a fitting here. And then you've got these two screws on the top of the motor. Now, what I'm also going to do is just stick a tool in here and take out a little bit of the excess grease before I button the motor up and clean the top housing, because you don't want basically like 100% fillage in here, because when the grease gets warm, it's going to squeeze and leak out. And also do a compatibility test. So just to make sure, I took a sample of this old grease. I just stuck a tool in there and pulled some of it out. And I mixed it with a couple pumps of the new grease I'm using, because I know they're both lithium based, but there's certain complexes where when they mix together, they'll either dry out, or what they'll do is, what's almost worse, depending on applications, is they turn liquid and just run. The oil and the binders can separate. So I think that's really more of an issue if you're mixing polyurea in lithium complex greases. And given the age, it's a pretty safe bet that this is probably a lithium complex grease, but you can't make 100% certain. So I use a synthetic, I think it's like NLGI 1.5 electric motor bearing grease. There's other options. I don't want to give names because people are going to go buy that and think it's perfect. Every motor's different. A lot of motors, you need an NLGI 2, you might need an NLGI 1. You'll have to look up what your motor requires. Now, I just do use a little bit thinner grease because I don't have heat issues in this shop. Now, I don't run this motor continuous duty for 4, 6, 8 hours like a lot of other shops will. This is on for 20, 30 minutes at a time, maybe a couple hours, tops 2 hours. Your grease weight matters there because I'm doing more start and stops, and that's kind of where your wear happens. And in the winter, this shop can get cold. It can be in the high 50s. So, I'm sorry for my bad camera work. I'm trying to talk and hold the camera, but you also see how we have some grease flowing out here just from putting a little too much. It's got to go somewhere. But back to what I was saying. So my specific situation is likely very different than yours. So just be aware of that, make an informed decision based on what the manufacturer recommends for these. Now, given that these are no longer manufactured and a lot of the grease recommendations are no longer current, you will have to do a little bit of research and make an educated guess on what will work best based on what is currently available on the market. Now, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you found this entertaining and informative, and hopefully you tune in again.